What's up, y'all? Again, back for another episode of It's Just D Marie, the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. Man, it's good to see you again. It's good to hear you. If you guys listen to me, I hope it's good to hear me. What's been up? Y'all all right? Listen, here in Chicago, winter has come on full-fledged. It is wintering hard as hell out there. So today, I want to talk to you guys. We've been in the middle of a series of what do I mean when I say love and light, health and wealth, most importantly, strength where you need it the most. And we are dead in the middle of that series. We're talking about health today. What do I mean when I say that I pray you have health? Because a lot of times we think about mental health and physical health, but we're going to look at an infographic today that actually outlines 5 more different types of health that we need to be looking at when we consider being our best self, which is a song that we're going to wrap up with by Chris and Teeb today. Okay, so you know how we do, because I like to be, precise. Okay, we're going to start with the Oxford Dictionary definition of health. Okay, and they're defining health as the state of being free from illness or injury, right? And a person's mental or physical condition. See, right here in the definition, you see where they're focusing on mental and physical, right? But there's so many different, humans are complex beings, right? There's so many different layers and levels of health in humans. And so we want to take a look at them all. I like that little boom, boom at the end. All right, so we want to take a look at them all, right? Because we want to be fully healthy people. We don't just want to be healthy in one or two places, right? Actually, the students over at the Student Health and Counseling Service at UC Davis identified 8 different types of health. So we're going to dive into all of them today. But before we do that, please go ahead and subscribe. Give me a follow wherever you're listening to this. If you're watching it on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you get updates when new episodes come out. Also, head over to IG. Give me a follow on there. Just_D Marie. That's me. So give me a follow on there. Check me out too. I'm only on IG and YouTube, so that's the only places you can find me. So don't look on TikTok or any of the other things. All right, let's get into it. Physical health. Now, come on now. We all know physical health, right? And I want to tell y'all, like, this has never been so important to me as it has been these past few years, watching my father with his struggle. He has a type of dementia that affects his body and not just his mind. And so he goes to a class with Parkinson's patients to help them stay agile, flexible, strong, right? Reduce their fall risks. I can't speak this morning. And just seeing how important physical health is, it's not only vanity and muscles, it helps your blood circulate. It helps you, be able to do things when you get older in life, right? Open jars, take steps over things, right? Catch your balance if you're trying to fall, y'all. Physical health is super duper important. Not to mention, not just exercise, but what you put in your body, right? Drinking enough water, making sure that your organs have what they need to function properly. I pray that you have that kind of health. So this infographic is going to show us how the students at UC Davis broke mental health down into 7 different segments. They're talking about physical, spiritual, emotional, occupational, intellectual, environmental, financial, and social. And a lot of times we don't think about all of these different elements when it comes to our emotional health or when our mental health. We don't consider the fact that your environment has a lot to do with it, that your intellect has a lot to do with it, but they all do, right? So let's talk about them one by one. Spiritual health. What's your higher power? Do you even have one? What's your connection to it? How much time do you spend in connection on a daily basis? On a weekly basis? Are you outsourcing your spirituality to your pastor? I know that may sting, but I need you to sit and simmer on it a little bit, because the truth of the matter is a lot of us hand over our spiritual well-being to whoever we revere as our leader in that spiritual way instead of being the leader ourselves. Do not outsource that spiritual work to someone else. They're just human. They might have went and got a degree in theology, but they're just human. You're just as capable of being in charge of your own spiritual health. So get in touch, get in tune, meditate. Whatever you need to do to clear out space so that you can hear from your God or, the universe, whatever deity you invest in, make space for that. Make time for that. Where's your emotional health? Let me tell you something. This past year, I really started going to counseling like regularly. I really made a regular habit of it. And I realized what an emotional mess I am, right? How much trauma I wade through on a regular basis. And I wasn't proud of it. I'm not super happy about it, right? It is what it is. I mean, I'm just human as well. But when you really start to investigate some of those things, what's going on with you emotionally, you start to move different in the world. And that's a good thing, right? You can't heal things that you're not aware of. So get some help with your emotional state. Like, you may think you're good. I thought I was Gucci. Turns out I'm not. I'm far from. So invest in your emotional health as well. Set some goals for yourself emotionally. What would you like to get better at? What would you like to find a space to access some emotions that you're not dealing with right now? A lot of people lock away shit that you really need to get out. Get out into the world. Let it out of your body. That ties into physical health as well. Emotions trapped in the body turn into disease. It's just true. Inflammation is stress. It's stress and anger. I mean, it is what it is. So your emotions feed your physical health. You got to take care of them all. Occupational health. Where do you work? We are at work a third of our day. A half of our waking lives. We're at work. If your job sucks, you hate your job and the people that you work with, you're going to hate half of your life. Come on, y'all. I mean, money is important, but you can find other ways to make money without hating your life. Please, y'all. Even if you got to do a side hustle. Yesterday, I spent hours on my pottery wheel, just in that corner right there. And it was one of those things that I did that I started to lose time. And when you start to lose time, it's when you realize how much you really love a thing. You could just do it for hours and hours, not even thinking about it. That's love. So even if you can't love your job, find something to do that you do love. But please, honestly, find a job you love. This is going to make your life so much better. Intellectual health. Are you still learning? I don't understand. One of the reasons that I do so many different things is that I continue to learn. And when I learn, then I want to put things into practice. I'm like, yeah, let me go try that. Let's just see what happens. My mind is constantly growing. I'm inquisitive. I want to know about the world. And too many of us, just like we outsource our spiritual health to our pastors, too many of us outsource our intellectual health to schools. You don't stop learning at school. Watch documentaries. Find out about different things in the world. Take classes. Take pottery classes. Take guitar lessons. Take piano lessons. Take tennis lessons or pickleball. Whatever. Those things, growing your mind also helps keep your body fit. It reduces your mental age as well. You gotta exercise your whole body, not just muscles, right? But your whole being, your whole self. We want to create our best selves. The way to do that is to continue to push the boundaries. Don't be happy with what you know. Continue to learn. Continue to grow. And you don't have to go get a degree to do that. Just whatever you're curious about, explore. Just explore it. That's it. I subscribe to Mind Valley. They have a ton of courses on there that'll teach you a ton of different things. And Masterclass as well. Masterclass has been such a valuable resource for me to just learn about different things. Keep learning. Keep learning. Environmental. You know what? Let me say one more thing about that. Intellectual. My girlfriend gets mad at me sometimes because I say I think I'm smarter than most people. I don't say that as a brag. I say that as facts because I like to learn instead of be educated. Many people will sit and watch movies and YouTube for entertainment. I don't do that. Again, Mind Valley, Masterclass, I watch documentaries. And so I don't say I'm smarter than most people just because, like, oh, I'm so, like, no, I learn for fun, which means that I'm going to know more than people who do not learn for fun, right? Those small gains are going to be exponential later in life. It's like Gary Vee says, like, those small little daily habits turn into major gains later in life, right? And so I don't just say it as a flex. I say it because I know for a fact I learn more than most people, right? It doesn't make me better than most people. It just means I know more. And that's just, and as life goes on, those people who do not continue to learn, I'm just going to get further and further ahead. Now, like, being smart, like, so what? You know what I mean? But if it matters to you, then it matters to you. If you want to be smart for the rest of your life, just continue to learn. Grow intellectually. Make a point to continue to grow intellectually. Environmental. Now, I'm going to just say this, and I will don't really even talk about this on this podcast, but we're going to get into it today. For my black and brown people living lower income lives, right? Environmental is a major one. And I just want to say this because it ties into the next step, financial, as well. Environmental health is probably one of the best reasons for you to upgrade your education. If you haven't done that already, upgrade your job, look for a new job, upgrade your financial status, get the fuck out of environments that have been redlined. We already know that the environmental health in places that have been redlined, if you know what redlining is, it was back in the 60s. Everybody came home from the war and the government started giving people money to buy houses, right? The veterans, they were like, hey, part of your package is we're going to give you some money to buy or build a new house. Well, they didn't want to give this money to black and brown people, particularly black people. They didn't want to give this money to black people. So what they did was neighborhoods that were black or in danger of being segregated, they drew a red line around and said they would not invest money in those areas. 90% of areas that have been redlined are still majority minority inhabitants, right? Mainly black and brown people live in areas that were redlined 60 years ago. 90% of them. We know that those areas are not as clean. They don't get shoveled right when it snows. They put up, around here, there's a ton of industry, right? Industry all over the place causes air pollution, water pollution. Areas that are redlined have worse environmental health than any other areas in the country. Fact, hands down. And so if there's no other reason for you to get out of a bad neighborhood or a redlined neighborhood, a bad neighborhood, it's for your environmental health. Get out of there. Get out of there. We need to upgrade our financial game and get out of there. Leave it to the industry. Move out. Again, financial health. Financial health is the next nugget. Financial health, y'all, this straight comes down to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Like, if you don't, unfortunately, we need money to survive and to thrive here in this country. Unfortunately, I wish it weren't so. I wish we could still barter our lives away, but that ain't the way it goes right now. And so financially, you got to be set up to win, or you're going to be living in this constant survival mode. And if you're constantly in survival mode, you never get a chance to actually self-actualize. Sucks. It's true, because you can't think of higher levels of creativity and expression when you're worried about what you're going to eat. It's just how it goes. And so financial health really feeds everything else. It's almost one of the things that comes first, because you have to satisfy financial. You got to know where you're sleeping, what you're eating, in order to go on and pursue all of these other things. Excuse me. And lastly, social health. What's your community like? What are your friends like? Right? What's your friend group? Are they healthy? Are they backstabbers? Like, Is there drama, or is it just love and support? These things are major considerations in your life. And too many of us just don't even think about the people around us and just go on with people who've been with us forever. Like, those people may not be the best social circle for you in this next phase of life. And speaking of next phase of life, do you have goals and ambitions for all of these different 8 areas of your health? Do you have an idealized self where you're like, man, my social circle would be like this, man, my financial life would be like this? And not just thoughts and dreams, but plans. How are you going to become that person? How do you need to grow in order to become that person? If you're not asking yourselves those questions, then your dreams are just dreams. They'll never become actualized. You need to turn dreams into goals in order to actualize them. If you need help doing that, just so happens that I'm a life coach. Feel free to drop me an email. I'll leave the email address down there, but it's dmariehair@gmail.com in case you're not watching this on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, it's dmariehair@gmail.com, DEEMARIEHAIR@gmail.com. Hit me up. We could schedule a consultation. Consultations are free. I'll talk to you for 1 hour. We will try to get down and whittle down some of these goals for you and figure out where you want to grow in life and where your biggest opportunities to make the biggest jumps and gain the most insight and joy in your life is. All right. And so, speaking of becoming our best selves and setting goals for that and ambitions and all of the beautiful things, we're going to hear from Chris and Teeb again today. This song is accurately named Best Self.
Yeah, I give my best, I live my best and nothing less. Yeah, I give my best, I live my best and nothing less.
I am just being my best self, better than being someone else. I'm just being my best self, better than being someone else. I'm just being my best self. I'm just being my best self. So I'm just being my best self, better than being someone else. I'm just being my best.
Love it or leave it. If I give, I receive it. In my mind, I can see it. So success, I achieve it. Love it or leave it. If I give, I receive it. In my mind, I can see it. So success, I achieve it. Love it or leave it. If I give, I receive it. In my mind, I can see it. So success, I achieve it. Love it or leave it. If I give, I receive it. In my mind, I can see it. So success, I achieve it.
I'm just being my best self. Oh, oh. I'm just being my best self. I'm just being my best self. Better than being someone else. I'm just being my best self. Better than being someone else. I'm just being my best self. I'm just being my best self. So I'm just being my best self. Better than being someone else. I'm just being my best self. Yeah, I give my best, I live my best and nothing less. I'm just being my best self. Yeah, I give my best, I live my best and nothing less. I'm just being my best self, better than being someone else. I'm just being my best self, better than being someone else. I'm just being my best self. I'm just being my best self. So I'm just being my best self, better than being someone else. I'm just being my best self.
Again, that's Best Self by Chris and Teeb. Love those guys. And I love you. As usual, I pray that you have love and light, health and wealth. Most importantly, strength where you need it the most. I love y'all. I will see you guys next week for a talk about wealth. I also pray that you have wealth. Let's talk about it.